Matisse's Garden, written by Samantha Friedman, illustrations by Christina Amodeo. One day, the artist Henry Matisse cut a small bird from a piece of white paper. It was a simple shape, but he liked the way it looked and didn't want to throw it out, so he pinned it on the wall of his apartment to cover up a stain. The bird seemed lonely by itself, so Matisse cut out more shapes which joined the bird on the wall. As he cut out shape after shape from the white paper, he thought about a trip he'd taken many years before to the island of Tahiti. The shapes looked like the birds, fish, and seaweed he had seen there. As his scissors glided through the paper, he thought about how a bird must feel when it flies. As he cut, Matisse felt like he too was flying. Soon his walls were covered with plant and animal shapes. They captured the feeling of soaring and the sensation of swimming, but they didn't convey the bright blue of the sky or the deep blue of the sea. So he made a new work, this time pinning his white forms to sheets painted azure and marine blue. When he saw how the color brought his shapes to life, he asked his assistants to paint sheets of paper in a range of shades from vermilion to lemon to violet. Instead of using only white paper, he decided he would make his shapes by cutting directly into color. He tried a pink leaf against a background of orange and a green leaf against a background of black. He cut leaves of other hues and set them against backgrounds of every shade, experimenting with different harmonies and contrasts, the way the colors played with and against each other. What counts most with colors are relationships, Matisse thought. Matisse cut and cut. The leftover paper fell to the floor. He realized that every shape he cut created another shape. Instead of throwing away the leftover pieces, he added them to the composition. They weren't leftovers after all. Sometimes the shapes he cut were simple, like squares. But when he arranged them in just the right way, they took flight like a swarm of bees. He composed his shapes to show familiar scenes, like a woman in a room with a vase of flowers. And he turned familiar objects into simple forms, which he then composed into patterns. His cutouts started very small and got larger, and then large as a wall, until they stretched across the walls of his studio, curving around corners and covering doors. Matisse realized happily, I have made a little garden around me where I can walk. And for his garden, Matisse cut a small bird from a piece of blue paper. Okay, so for this project, we're going to make a collage or a picture just like Matisse did. We're going to experiment with colors and shapes and just glue them down on a piece of paper. There's no pencils, no crayons, no paints for this project, only a pair of scissors and a glue stick and lots of paper. And I'm going to use paper scraps that I've just had laying around. You can use anything for this project. I love the way that Matisse played with shape and color, and he even chose intentionally how to put one color up against the other so it would be bright and colorful. So I have some papers that were just laying around. I've got some black and some green. I've got yellows. I've even got a piece of paper that something was wrapped in, like a paper bag. I have some magazine pages from a magazine that nobody wanted anymore. I love this bright orange. And as I was gathering my paper, I thought, I really like flowers and plants, so I think that I'm going to make a bouquet. I'm going to use these pieces of paper, my scissors as a pencil, and the glue stick. And then on this is just the back of an old calendar that I'm going to use as background. I can cover the whole thing up, or I can use the white as part of my project. So to get started, you want to think about what you want to make. Do you want to make an ocean scene? Do you want to make ocean plants from the bottom of the ocean? Do you want to do fish? Do you want to do mountains and streams? Do you want to do flowers? Do you want to create nothing and just make a design? That's also okay. Or create a toy or a car. But whatever you do, you're only going to use scissors and glue. So let's get started. Okay, here we go. I've decided to start with some sort of vase shape. And because I can't draw it, I'm just going to have to be okay with anything that comes out that's wonky. It's okay that it's not perfect. The other thing I forgot to say was that we're not going to glue anything down until we've laid out what we wanted. And I think Matisse did the same thing. He cut out his shapes and then waited to see how he wanted to arrange them. So here I go. I like these birds on a line here from a bird magazine. So I'm going to use it this way, and I'm just going to cut out maybe I'll just do a straight line here, and maybe I'll leave that bumpy torn edge there for the top, just for fun. And remember, make a pile of your scraps, because maybe you'll want to use some of those scraps for your picture, for your creation. So let's see. I think I'll put it here, not quite in the middle, but maybe a little off from the middle. And now I need to start putting some plants together. I think I'll start with some big, tall leaves. So I'm going to cut some curves here and just make some nice, tall leaves. I don't know where they're going to go yet, but maybe like that. And I've got enough left on this one that I can just maybe make another one. I like to make a pile of my scraps next to me. So if you've never done this before, this particular kind of art is called collage. I'm going to put those two leaves together right there. It's called collage. Let's see. I like this really bright yellow color, so maybe I'll do, maybe I'll just cut some shapes, some circular shapes, and I can create some sort of flower by just cutting some circular shapes. So there's one, there's two. I like to cut. I've always liked to cut. I just think cutting is so satisfying. It takes a while to learn how to hold scissors when you're young, but once you do, it's pretty exciting. All right, so now I have 4 circles. Maybe I need one more circle for this. So I'm literally just gonna look at my papers, think about some shapes that that I might like, and maybe that flower needs a center. I'll use this black and cut another circle, just a small one, to make the center. Oh yeah, there we go. I kind of like that. Maybe it needs a stem. I have some green here. I'll cut a long skinny piece for a stem. Maybe I'll tear it. You can even tear your paper too if you want. I've done art projects where the only thing you can do is tear. You can't use scissors or anything. It's very challenging, but it's really fun. Okay, so maybe that works. That works. There we go. Okay, fun. I like this red. I think I'll do some long petal shapes, or maybe just make a whole bunch of those. And that will be the start of some sort of crazy flower. Ooh, look at that. I could use that as a shape. Maybe I'll make one more over here. And then I'm going to save this, so I'm going to cut it this way so I can save it over here in my scraps. Because maybe I'll want to use that in my picture. Take your time. Don't worry if you cut something you don't like, put it aside and maybe you'll find, oh, that almost looks like a whole flower, doesn't it? I kind of like that. You never know what's going to happen. And then we'll put this one over here. Oh, this looks like a plant called a bird of paradise. And they grow in warm places like California or down south on the continents down below like Australia, sometimes in the desert areas. Okay, let's see. I feel like I need something blue in my picture. So I think I'll take this light blue. Oh, it's a part of a just scrap piece of paper from something. I don't even know where that came from. Oh, here's another petal. There. And I will just cut maybe some weird shapes, kind of like Matisse did. And I'll put that, because you know, flowers don't stand by themselves in a vase. They get in each other's ways by overlapping. Oh yeah, that's pretty fun. Pretty fun way to cut. Shall I cut one more? Oh, now I have another shape here. Yeah, I like using the shapes left from the other shapes that I've cut. I'm going to put that one over here for a minute and decide maybe I'll cut. Got lots of paper to choose from over here. Maybe I'll cut one more. Maybe I'll cut some long, bumpy. And move my paper and my scissors at the same time and I can make these great shapes. Well, like that. Like that a lot. So you can see you can have a lot of fun just with scissors and papers and glue. Okay. Ooh, look at that. All right, now I do have some good ideas about what I want to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and start doing some gluing. And I'm going to start with just the vase, but I'm not going to glue. I'm only going to glue on the edges because I want to be able to put things on the inside of it. So I'll just do a little bit of glue on the edges. I can always go back and do some more later. And I'm going to put it right there at the bottom of my page. And now I see some ideas. Oh, I just saw this paper with the pink. I probably should get some pinks. Maybe I'll just cut around these shapes that I've got here. And you might see that too. You might have a magazine that's got some really cool shapes in it. Maybe you just cut around the shapes and use those as part of your creation. This one's really fun. There's really no rules for this other than you can only use scissors. You just can't use any utensils that make marks on a piece of paper. There's another one I really like. I was playing with a paintbrush and some watercolor when I made this. I was playing with mark making cool marks on my paper. Okay, oh, look at that. All right, now I'm going to start adding some of my flowers. So I'm going to put these over here on the side, and I'm going to start with this bird of paradise or whatever it is. We can even make up a name if we want to. And I'm just going to stick these up here the way I want them to, and then I can add the leaves later. You know, I had an idea in my head, kind of what I wanted this to look like, but I don't really think there's any way for you to know what it's going to look like until you actually start putting it together. And then it's very cool how your brain, your creative side of your brain, gets even more ideas from the ideas that you originally had, just by following this process of what looks good, what do I like, what part of this do I really like. So I'm going to make these 2 big green leaves as part of this. So that one's going to go there. And then we'll put this one here. There. Okay. And now let's add, that almost needs another one. Let's just add some, let's do this flower and then we'll give it a, this one actually almost looks like a real petal, doesn't it? So we'll put this one up here. You can do straight lines, curvy lines. You can do squiggly lines, diagonal lines. We have a couple of videos about the art elements of line and shape and color. Okay, and then this, oops, this is going to go in here in the middle. It's going to go in the middle. This is the middle of my flower. And you know, I could even add another color in the middle there. And then this is going to be the, I have to be really careful not to get glue on the other parts of my painting, or my creation here. All right, so I'm going to stick this down inside here. Just like I said, I left the note, I didn't put any glue on the middle so that I can stick this in here. She said carefully. Okay, and then we'll just put this underneath like that. There. Okay, lots of layering. All right, let's do this blue one just for fun. Put this blue one up here. And maybe these scraps over here, these green scraps, could be leaves on that one. Look at that, I've cut this triangle out and didn't even know that it was, I'm gonna use it. Put that there, and here's another one. We'll just use these as green leaves for a bouquet. See, scraps can be very useful. Okay, we'll put this one back here. Ooh, I like that. I really like that. Let's see if I can find another. There's another scrap. I'll just cut another one, and we'll just put this one over here on the side. And I kind of feel like those blue flowers need a center, but let me just think about it a minute. Okay, got some flowers. Let's put these blue, let's put this pink one here. Let's see, where should we put this pink one? Let's put it up here. It's going to need a big stem and leaf as well. Maybe this will be a bunch of flowers that grow on one stem. Okay. And that one's going to cover up some of that one. This is just like in real life. And you look outside your window and you're looking at flowers and trees and plants. They're overlapping. They're not giving each other exactly the right kind of space. All right, so we have these blue ones. We'll put those blue ones right in the middle. How's that? Really like these shapes a lot. Oops, more glue. So it's important as an artist to stop every once in a while and say, what do I like? What do I need more of? What would be something fun to add to this? Well, I can tell you right now that we need more we need more stems. Let's see if I can find a new color that I haven't used yet. Here's a different little color. This is a different green. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just cut some squiggly shapes, long squiggly shapes, and we'll use those as some stems. Get all these straight edges off. Although it would be okay to use straight edges. Lots of straight edges in nature. See, I think I'll tear this. And maybe we could put this under here. So you don't have to do any gluing until you're ready, until you know exactly what you want your painting to look like, or your picture to look like. Okay, this one's gonna go here, goes right under there, look at that. And then we'll put this one under here, and we'll just kind of, this will be like a branch. There you go. Okay, so I really like this so far. I'm going to look at it carefully. I feel like there might need to be something bright in the middle there. So maybe I'll do something like a bright blue center. Now I'm just wondering if my picture needs a bird, like Matisse made a bird for his. Look at that. And I was thinking that this might be fun to put a circle right in the middle of that black one to make that pop a little bit more. Yeah, like that. Okay. A little bit of glue there. We'll put some glue here. Some glue here. There we go. Now, I could do this all day. This is so much fun. But I'm going to stop right here, and if you would like to continue and keep adding to your picture, and maybe this won't be the only one you use. Maybe you'll end up using, you'll try a different idea. I forgot about this one. Where am I going to put that? Maybe it can hang down over here. I think I like that idea. Sometimes when you have a bouquet, you have flowers that hang down on the sides. Let's put some glue here, some glue there, and then we'll need to add some sort of stem. Let's see, let's find a good green. I think I'll use, let's see. Maybe I'll add a yellow stem. That's interesting, and maybe it will be like a triangle shape. Oh, I know. I'm gonna curve it. So there we go. And I'm gonna put it right underneath these guys. It's a lot of over and under with this project, isn't there? There we go. Yeah, we'll just do that. And maybe we'll just do another one here. We'll add another little shape there. Okay. This has been so much fun. Now, the only thing I would ask you to use a pencil for would be to sign your artwork, because you are the artist and all artists sign their work. So there we go. A little floral bouquet done in the Monet, or in the Matisse style. have a lot of fun with this project. See you next time.